We went on the bus one time. We were like quite late on. It's like the Americans and the Canadians kind of already sat down. There's like not that many seats left. And then like the English boys are like walking on, and one of the Americans is like, "Seats taken." He laughs and like walks a little bit forward, and then one of the Canadian goes, "Can't sit here." The thing from Forrest Gump is that the girl that he fancies at the back's like, "Oh, you can sit here." So then there's a guy from the back calls him like, "You can sit here if you want." And everyone's just cracking up. It's like go to war. Like, you know it's going to be horrible. Like, everyone's going to suffer. So like, we may as well have a bit of a laugh here first.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Last Show Counts. The summer has basically been and gone now, and now we're just waiting for the World Championships before the start of a new season, and it's also been crazy busy over for us at Rowgear. So we wanted to kind of let you know what we were up to, and also take this as an opportunity to chat some more crap about rowing and hopefully get some more stories out.
Yeah, definitely. We've had some mad good episodes. There's been some deep ones, some long rides. First string of Olympians, first Olympic gold. Been some pretty heavy places, which has been incredible. Been awesome to see the journey, but we felt like maybe we're just lagging a little bit on that stupid rowing chat, which comes and goes, depends on who's on the episode. So yeah, we'll get into a bit of that as well.
Yeah. All right, so what have we been up to these last few weeks?
Fixing lots of row machines. Got so many clubs now ramping up for the start of the new season, and I feel like I've spent 10 years telling people to try and get ahead of it, and finally they have. So yeah, I've been really busy doing loads of that, getting in with the kit as well, which is pretty good. Been sending out a bunch of kit sample boxes. That's really exciting. Sort of getting on top of that thing that's kind of been in the background for the last 6 months, something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like juggle organizing guests for the podcast, servicing over 100 rowing clubs a year, and also doing rowing kit. But here we are. Yeah, there's been a lot of interest, and yeah, the designs that we've produced seem to have really caught on. So we're looking forward to like seeing it out at the regatta venues next season.
We've been saying 100 clubs, but it's definitely more than that now, I think.
Especially considering all the rowing, all the CrossFit stuff. I mean, there's so many gyms that we go to nowadays, and concept twos aren't just used in rowing clubs.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, well, the bikes and the skis and all those things has been really good. But yeah, I mean, the really fun thing has been growing the podcast. Got lots more people booked in. Some more exciting ones to come, definitely. Some we'll probably talk about in a bit. Some we might keep hidden until we get closer. But no, it's been really fun. It's been cool. Still just like surreal getting recognized around places. So you got recognized in your gym.
Yeah. So the other day I did my classic 11 p.m. nighttime workout, because that's the only time that I had available to go to the gym. And then I heard some people chatting about this Oxford City Royal Regatta or something like that. And then I asked them about entries or something like this. And then one of them looks at me and is like, "You're the Rowgear guy, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, like no way. This is like the gym that I've been going to for years. And what's happening here?" But then we got into some really, really interesting chats, talked some more crap about rowing, gave a bit of some behind the scenes stories of what it's been like on a podcast and with some of our guests, and kind of like what we're planning in the next few weeks. So definitely, if you do see us, do say hi, because you might get some inside info and some inside source.
Yeah, we like over Henley, we definitely expected some people probably to say hi, and they did, and that was still awesome, even though it was like, obviously, it's Henley. But we also literally on the way to doing our podcast with Jack, someone spotted us in the van and shouted across the road. They were out walking their dog and they had headphones in, and he was like, "Hey guys, I'm listening to your podcast right now. I'm listening to your Ben Lewis podcast right now." And we were just like, what? Like, it's in Henley, obviously, the home of rowing, but I'm still like, what are the chances that someone would just walk past the van and be like actually listening to us chat shit about rowing?
And in that moment as well, because, okay, fair enough, like I've listened to your podcast, but like I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's when it gets a little bit crazy. But
so yeah, that's been pretty cool. Like feedback's been awesome. I don't know if you guys might have seen some of the stuff we shared. Get some really like heartfelt feedback, which is awesome. Like really good to hear that people are interested in what we're doing. The choice to go long format for us was we really wanted to explore like the backstories for our guests and stuff. And some people have kind of been like, oh, it's too long and I don't want to listen to it. But I think now we got into some real stories and get into the depths of people's careers and their life and ups and downs. Like the feedback seems to be really good, so that's really good. I mean, in terms of like, I think we're about to hit like sort of 20,000 total views across all platforms.
Yeah, on a long format video. Yeah. It's crazy that some people will complain that it's too long. I mean, yeah, next time we get Tim Foster on, we're just going to have a quick 20-minute catch-up. And then I won't ask him any in-depth questions because he's really interested in that, right?
Too much free content. Oh, please, no. I get it. Like, it's sometimes it's a lot. And like, well, but also the feedback is that people aren't listening to it all in one go. Like, they're able to listen to that over like a couple of journeys, or we had someone stood there listening to it on the bikes, on the long distance UT2 bikes. So I think that's definitely a good place to listen to it.
Yeah. Like the preseason training must be in full order now. But I can't think of anything better to listen to than just some inspiring, motivating chats with like some stories that will just add fuel to the fire.
Yeah, and we've always said like it's impossible to please everyone, so just try and create content that we would enjoy. So hopefully, like, yeah, it seems like other people are enjoying it, and it's growing slowly. But yeah, I mean, if you're loving it, and you get a chance to spread it around, if you want to stick your favorite episode on social media or Facebook or Instagram or something like that, share it around, like tell a mate or tell your club. That would be awesome, because obviously we want to keep doing this. We want to keep bringing you guys awesome guests. We want to branch out. You know, obviously we start with our wheelhouse, which is British athletes, and we'll definitely have some more of them to bring post World Championships. But we'd love to like branch out and go for other countries and potentially, you know, do things like maybe, you know, fly into Europe and speak to some people, the Czech team, Polish team, German team, something like that.
The Sinkovic brothers, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that'd be awesome. There's a cost involved in that, so we'll see how we go. But so far, no, really enjoying it. And yeah, like if you are, then give us a shout out somewhere. I think it would be really helpful.
Yeah, we'd absolutely appreciate if you just put it in like some of your Facebook groups or some of like the rowing chats that you're a part of, or, you know, the community of your club. If you spread the word out, we're going to keep bringing you even better guests. And like, I know we've been trying to set the bar pretty high, but guys, there are still ceilings to go here. And also, rowing is one side of the podcast, but also what we really want to focus on is life after rowing, but also business and how you can use the transferable skills between the two disciplines and carry it like anywhere you go in life. So if you think we're just going to be doing some backstories, you are going to be in for a treat when you see some of the episodes we've got coming up later this year, including some panels. We've had some interesting suggestions, even from our previous guests, about who they'd like to bring on. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, we've got some options. Like we got 6 mics now. It's got some options to bring some panels of guests on, maybe crews, you know, get squad pair on or something like that. Like we'll see how we go with that one. But yeah, it's the format will vary, and we're going to do our best to bring different content. But whenever you get a guest on, you know, like Alex or Tim or Vicky, like I'm not going to not sit here and like find out about your life and your journey and stuff. So these things are like, if I'm going to have a guest that big on, then that's what we're going to focus on, I reckon. Yeah.
Awesome. So speaking of pre-season, how do you best prepare yourself for Hell Week?
Wow.
What is Hell Week?
Well, depends, doesn't it? But most clubs on the first training week back will do some sort of testing. So most people do a 2K or a 2K and a 5K, or one or the other, or some water testing, some pieces of some point to just get a handle on where their athletes are, who's been looking after themselves over the summer, who's been eating too many pies.
Why are you looking at me?
So yeah, I mean, I guess whatever form it is, like the point is, you know, first full week of training back, is generally tough. There'll generally be some performance pieces or testing in most clubs, or certainly within that first period. So best piece of advice would be definitely have a break, but then also the sooner you start before preseason, the less of a shock it's going to be to the system. So I think if you're waiting till like 2 days before to get back on the cross training, then you're going to struggle.
Okay, so let me picture a scenario. What if you've been out for a lash all summer and it is 2 days to go, and then your hell week consists of a 5K, 2K, half hour and max weights? What do you do then? Last minute survival tactics.
Just prepare for pain. I think I did a similar thing, to be fair, my first year back. My first year at Leander, lucky enough, won Henley, went away that summer, did nothing, just enjoyed my life. Had a real long summer off. It was like one of the only summers in my career where I had off from Henley Regatta to first week of September. We did do Nat Champs, but we did like 3 sessions for him. It was awful. An absolutely awful regatta. But yeah, I did absolutely nothing, and then turned up that first week back and just felt like I had the flu. It was absolutely in bits. I had to walk down the stairs backwards because my hamstrings were just torn up from squatting. And I don't think we did like a max 2K, luckily enough. But yeah, we did some testing and it was just awful. It was awful. I felt awful. I felt like so destroyed I could barely eat at one point. And it was just a horrible experience. So I guess time to pay the piper if you've done nothing all summer. But I mean, I would still just say, like, if there's reasons why, if you've been busy, if you've had exams, if you've had something else you had to go and do, family or traveling or whatever, like, it depends where you are in your program and how far you're trying to get that year. But I would still just like say, like, be sensible. If you really know you've not done enough training, you don't want to be the first week of your season to just make yourself incredibly ill and spend the next 4 weeks off. So, like I said, it's not necessarily everyone. It's going to depend where you are, where you're training, what the deal is. But like, if you really feel you're not set up for whatever's going to be put in front of you on week 1, I would personally put my hand up, in private, go and see the coach and just be like, listen, for whatever reason it is, I really haven't had a chance to get fit yet. I really don't think I'm going to perform on these tests. And I think any reasonable coach, should you be confronted with some sort of heavy testing phase, might be happy to delay that. I mean, I know one example from someone we used to coach, went into sort of Hell Week, got a bit ill, told the coach, and the coach was like, okay, fine, we're not going to test you when you're ill. We're going to wait 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and wait till you get better and we'll test you then. It definitely at the start of the season, I reckon it can feel like it's like everything's collapsing. If you're having your first 2K is awful, or you're getting ill in your first week, or you've got an injury or whatever, it's like, oh my God, it's like the worst timing. It's always the worst timing. It doesn't matter when it is in the season. Like, it's never going to be good timing to get ill or injured.
Yeah, they don't call it Hell Week for a reason. There's never a good week for a 5K and 2K and a half hour.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're taking your race seriously, if you're going to a high performance club, if you're at Leander Brooks, something like that, like a high performance center or a university program, the assumption is that, if you want to take it that seriously, you're going to have put the work in. But if you're not taking your running seriously and you turn up and it's all a bit crazy, I would still say, like, your body is your business, as Jürgen used to tell us. Like, if you get ill, you can't do anything, you can't do any training. So be sensible, like, crack on with it, like, do your best. But if you're really feeling like you're struggling, don't just suffer in silence. You'll end up bedding in a bad injury or, something that's going to hurt your chances later down the line. So it's a trade-off.
Yeah, if you feel like you've done Hell Week and you're dying, just think cause and effect. If that's the effect that you're feeling, what was the cause of that, and try and just avoid that into the future, or use sort of like some visualizations to like help you through the dark moments and to pull yourself on the other side of the pain. And come October, it will get much, much easier. Yeah,
I mean, also I would have hoped that any high performance program will have let their athletes know what the plan is. So it shouldn't be like you're walking into just completely unknown. Like, I thought it's coming for like 12K UT2 and it's a 2K oak test. Like, or I should imagine that most people would prepare athletes for that.
I love a good surprise 2K test. And by love, I mean, I absolutely despise it.
We used to at school have our coach, we had like a session. He's right, we're going to go out in 4s. We're going to do some timed pieces. Then we're going to adjust the lineup of those fours, and then we're going to do some more timed pieces. Like, so we're doing seat racing. No. Right, we're just going out in fours. We're going to do some timed pieces. We're going to adjust the lineup, and we're going to do some more timed pieces. Not seat racing. Yeah, okay.
So what happened?
Then we went out and did seat racing.
Perfect.
I mean, everyone knew what was going on. That was a training camp. I was a training camp in Henley, actually, with school. We had there's this place we used to stay. This woman called Mrs. Fotherby had this amazing old house up in Stoke Row, and she had a swimming pool there and like loads of bedrooms, and she cooked all the food and looked after us. But she only had space for like, I think like maybe like 10 or 12 guys, but there was like 30 guys on the camp. So we had this, I think we had like maybe like a 5 or 6 day. So it was a 6-day camp. So the first 3 days of camp, we slept in sleeping bags on the village floor down in Remenham. And like, there's a village hall down in Remenham. Slept down there, like with just everyone on the village floor, like making our own, and to cook our own dinners in this tiny little kitchen for everyone. And then the next 3 days, we got to go and stay at Fotherby's and eat her cooked food and like swim in the pool. There's probably other people that stayed at her house because she was on the list for like Henley Cruise. She used to like rent her house out for Henley Cruise as well. And we had it the best way around. So we went from this 3 crappy days in the cold village floor to this amazing house and jumping in the pool. And then the upper 6th, the year above us, they had the other way around. So they had the really nice, because they were like super, oh, we're going to Fotherby's first. Like we've got it. And then they actually realized that they messed up, because then they went from like the best bit of camp to then they're sleeping on the rough floor with their teacher used to snore as well. So he's like, had him, I won't say his name. He had him snoring in the corner. So yeah.
That is a trough trade-off. That is peak.
I remember that when we did the training camp last year together for the college. We did our best to try and get internet. We had a 3G dongle, but again, we weren't even in the middle of nowhere. But it was just like no internet. And like you said to me, like, yeah, but Tom, like, when have you been on a good training camp that had internet?
Yeah, well, that is so true. I cannot remember a single training camp that had like a semi-decent signal.
We didn't even have, not even phone signal, let alone internet. Like, I remember we went on school training camp. This camp, so up in Stoke Row, 0 phone signal. And we would then drive into Henley twice a day for sessions. And as you drove down the hill into Henley, you would get signal. Then there'd be like 3 minutes, 5 minutes from when we got signal to when we had to jump out the bus and get rowing. So 5 minutes, like text my girlfriend, oh, I'm still alive, how are you doing? And then we'd go rowing, and then we'd jump in the bus, and then you've got like 5 minutes to send another text before you shoot out of zone. And then, but then that was actually like super freedom to like not, even at that point, we didn't have internet on our phones or anything, but just like not even be able to in contact with it and just live, sleep, breathe, rowing. It was pretty cool. You don't get that much anymore.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. You also like get to bond with your teammates so much more, because it's one thing like living in times when there is no technology and that is the norm. But when you are used to just having your phone on you 24/7, and then suddenly you can't even make a phone call. Now that's when like you really find out like who you're on training camp with and like who you're rooming with, and
good crew bonding. Yeah, I remember we used to. I mean, that's how I found. I started listening to Bob Marley, because this kid Will Bowen had a Bob Marley CD, and every time we put it in, like none of us got more than like 2 songs in before we fell asleep. So we would just bang it on in the afternoon, so we could have a little afternoon nap before the 3rd session or whatever. But all right, so what are your tips for getting back to the start of the season?
My tips for getting back into the start of season: stretch. If you had a summer of doing absolutely nothing, okay, so let's take it as 2 scenarios, right? One, you've had a summer of doing absolutely nothing, so all your tendons and all your muscles will have shrunk, definitely, even if it's just a little bit. So you just want to make sure that if you're going to do like a repetitive strain exercise, which rowing is, you want to make sure that you're as stretched as possible, as flexible. Because, okay, you might not have the fitness, but at least you'll be able to like utilize your muscles effectively and not give yourself an injury. Versus if you have been training very hard during the summer, just know that there are people who haven't, probably in your squad. And this is now your time, especially if you're on a come up in the squad, to show them exactly what you've been up to and why you are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the upcoming season.
I'd still be wary of going too hard too early. It's a long season, and you want to be able to build through the season. So you still want to make sure you're using this initial period as like getting into things. But again, it depends. If you're in a squad that the size is going to get cut. If there's some people that aren't going to make the grade, then certainly you need to turn up and perform. But also remember that you want to leave yourself somewhere to go.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be cut literally the first week of the Hell Week, which one of us at this table has been, and it is not Tom. I'll tell you that much.
It's a bit different when the group that you were hoping to go into didn't exist at that club at the time, the development group. So it's a bit of a...
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
there's a caveat to that.
There is a caveat to that. Yeah, like obviously, you just finish off junior, so you're semi-decent, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm just racing these 24-year-olds. I'm 18, that's basically the same. It is not. And 6 years is a really long time.
Yeah, if I turned up at 18 at Leander and was trying to break into the ladies' plate squad, there's absolutely no way of getting. Like, I needed that 2 years before I got into a plate 8 to develop.
2 years into the veg steamer.
In the veg steamer, yeah. No, the veg steamer was the ladies' plate 8 because we were the veg.
Oh, right.
So they were the veg steamer.
But you did beat them from time to time, so...
I mean, yeah, on some like random timed pieces, rate stepped and things like that, like when there were conditions.
I bet you never let them forget it.
I don't know. No, I wasn't that wasn't the kind of crew that you riled up. Like they were a pretty incredible crew. Like you didn't never give anyone any more reason to beat you than they already have. Is a nice tip I like.
And that is a classic Tom quote, and he says it to me all the time.
Yeah, like if someone they were racing against you, they already want to beat you. The last thing you want to do is turn around and give them some snide comments, something to feed off, some like anger to just like rile them up.
So what would you suggest? Tie their shoelaces, tie all their nuts and bolts, just be super nice? Be like, well, I don't want to beat them because they've just been so nice.
Just whenever you get into the landing stage and they're not in and they can't see you yet, just dip one each of their shoes and all that. Go for the psychological.
But only
one, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that is brilliant. Right.
Or the other thing that people used to do, if you didn't have like a see-through water bottle, would be to like take someone's water bottle and like change the juice or like put some like tea or coffee or something random in it. So like when you get down to the bottom, you have your first drink of juice. Like, I don't advocate psychological warfare. There's quite a famous story when Leander raced Cambridge, I think it was, one of the pre-boat race match fixtures. And about halfway through the piece, Cambridge get up and they've got up out in clear water. Leander's like struggling hard. And it's like Pinson Redgrave, like all the big names are in it. And one of the Cambridge guys shouts, I think it's in Pinson's book, one of the Cambridge guys shouts like, "Oh, is that all you've got, Redgrave? Oh, I thought you were supposed to be bigger than this." And then the whole Leander boat goes from having just accepted defeat to like, "Well, fuck you then." And just absolutely switches it on and rags it straight back through them. And it's like, you would have had that. If you managed to keep yourself from gloating, you would have won that piece. So
fuck, you don't want to mess with the old penny boy.
That's the classic example of why you don't do something like that. Yeah, I'm not the first person to have said it.
Right, so I guess you start off with the Hell Week at the start of the season just so you can get into crews, get back into training, or is it for trials?
I think most of the time it's just to assess where you are, get some markers on the board. It's going to be difficult through the season to know how you're progressing, the speed you're progressing at if you don't have a baseline. It's about setting a baseline, I guess, for most crews, clubs, athletes. And yeah, then it's good for you. As you get fitter, stronger, better through the season, you get to see, this is where I started, this is where I'm at now.
So was there a situation where, for example, someone had a shocker start to the season and then you were supposed to row a pair with them at trials and then that just fell apart?
I've had a lot of fairs partners. Yeah, I've seemed to generally been stuck quite a lot out on my own. Certainly, like as a junior, at my school, I went through quite a few different pairs partners. Some from my school, some given me from other schools. Paired up with a guy from Dulwich. That didn't necessarily work particularly well. And through under 23s, like trying to swap sides. At one point swapping sides onto bow sides, getting a pair with Will Satch, and then just all sorts of different people. I don't know, on paper, you know, you're only as good as your last result. But the reality is, if you know you've had a bad one, I wouldn't get too hung up on it. And ultimately, ergs don't float, as they say. So, and like the real results are going to come on the water, and you're going to have plenty of time. Most clubs assess weekly on seeing the single or the pair, so you're going to have plenty of time to put a performance in.
Right. So this is one thing that I actually wanted to like ask, because I genuinely don't know. How do you like decide who you're going to trial it in a pair with? Does your club decide? Does the coach decide? Does the GB decide? I have no idea like how that works.
It depends what club you're at, but yeah, it depends what group you're pulling from. So there's been times when I've been in a ladies' plate squad at Leander, but there was only say 2 of us that were under 23. So like naturally, you want to trial. If you're an under 23 athlete, you want to do your best to trial with another under 23 athlete, because you want that performance as a whole to count towards that. Whereas if you went in with a senior athlete, you know, it's more difficult to say, or it's not going to count as well with you, because the assumption would be that maybe that senior athlete has like put more in. It might not even be the case.
Yeah, I meant more like in a squad. So for example, you know how like you, like say back in the day, right? You had obviously Tim Foster and James Cracknell rowing a pair together. Then there was Greg Searle, and then Pinson Redgrave. So for example, if one day Tim Foster turned around and said, I wanted to row a pair with Greg Searle.
No. The athlete doesn't get to choose. No, for the most part, as you get to more high performance systems, programs, it'll be a pairs matrix. So you'll run a pairs matrix, and the fastest 2 pair will go as the fastest on each side, and then they'll rank down that way.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't had an opportunity, like I said, if it's open to the whole squad, if it's split between seniors under 23s, again, the coach is going to decide whether you have a pairs matrix or not, whether the coach feels like he's got enough information to decide. But yeah, no, you don't. I've never been in a situation where I've been like, right, I want to row with him. And actually, I've been in a situation where I've not allowed to row with someone I wanted to row with. And I don't know if I told this story already, where I had to sort of engineer a situation.
Oh, go on. I don't think you have told this story on the podcast.
Do you know the one I'm talking about?
I do know the one that you're talking about.
So it was a year at Leander where I was sort of one of the only athletes there who'd previously been to under 23 World Championships. There was a couple of other athletes at still under 23 by age, but maybe not quite pushing the standard at that point. Like, so the other guys around, people like Al Sinclair were still sculling, John Collins was sculling, and Will Satch had either gone into the team already or was doing a pair of Will Lawton. And then another guy, so James Orme, then had a few bad performances in the team, got sent back to Leander from the team, and didn't really have anyone to pair with. So they asked if I wanted to go in a pair with him. I was like, well, obviously, like this guy's just been sat in the team. Like clearly, I want to go in a pair with him. But I was up in the run up to 8's head, and my coach at the time, Chris Collerton, really wanted to focus on the 8. I wonder if he hears this story, if I'm going to get in trouble. He really wants to focus on the 8, and he was like from straight, as soon as James came back, he was like, listen, you guys, I don't care if you want to do extra, you can go and do extra, but like the focus in the 8, we're doing all our training in the 8. So we did start doing like a third session down in the pair. But it's like quite a lot of mileage, doing high mileage in the 8 already. And I was just like, oh, like, this sucks. Like, I've got an opportunity finally. You know, I've been struggling for pairs partners, been bouncing around, like finding some people. Had a great run with Sean Dixon next year, but we didn't get to race any names. Anyway, so I just went to Orme and was like, listen, you need to go to the head coach and just be like, listen, look, this pair is like my last chance. That's my last chance to get back in the team. If I don't put performance in at farm trials here, I'm not going to get invited back into the team. That's going to be it for me. I'm going to have to go and get a real job. As opposed to playing online poker, which is how he'd been making his money up until that point, which he's quite good at. So I got him to do that. So I kind of like inceptioned the situation by basically, I got Orme to speak to the head coach and be like, look, I really want to focus on this pair. The head coach then goes to speak to my coach, Chris. And then the next day, Chris comes up to me and I have to like pretend like I don't know what he's going to say. He's like, oh, Tom, okay, I've had a word with Mark. And, he says, Mark wants you and James to focus on the pair, so half the sessions you're going to go out in the pair. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess. I mean, if that's what Mark wants. So we did. I mean, we still obviously did well at AZ, and at the end of the day, I guess that was Chris's focus. You know, as a coach at the club, he was been tasked with getting a result at AZ. So I don't really have any malice against him, but at the same time, like I think there are situations in your career where you have to look after yourself because no one else is going to. So that's maybe one of them times that I played it to work in my favour. Although at times I've been told that there were other people who do that better than me anyway. So I probably wasn't always the person that managed to engineer the situation for my own benefit.
And that is a classic Tom Clark Inception type of plan, but it worked. So I'm guessing like you did well at trials.
We had a good race. We came 12th in the time trial. Which put us in the lower slot for the semi-final. I messaged this on the other day on social media. I still got a photo from that final. What did we say? There's like 13, 14...
I think 16
Olympic medals now in that final, including like 9 gold or something. It was a pretty stacked lineup. I had Hodge and Reed. This is 2011. So it's Hodge and Reed. It was like Cam Nicol and Greg Searle. Alex Partridge and Will Satch, Tommy Wilkinson, Tommy Burton, Matt Langers, and Dan Ritchie. I think that's about it, yeah.
Then you would have been the 6th pair, yeah?
Yeah, we went out like that and we led them all. I led Hodge and Reed. I led Hodge and Reed to the K. I felt good. We said, like, what we're going to do. You know, we've come 12th, like, what we're going to do. Like we're, 6 make the A final, 6 make the B final. And 11 crews have qualified to here faster than us. So what are you going to do? You got to go out and take it, like take the bull by the horns, whatever. So we went out. We absolutely sent it. A great start. Felt awesome. Felt powerful, strong, fast. Got out in front. Had a bit of a lead. Like I'm literally like looking back at Hodge and Reed, Alex Partridge and Will Satch. Like they're like here, and you're like, I'm not having to like look across to see them.
Yeah,
I'm like, we're like out ahead. We came through the K and I felt pretty good, and I was like, oh shit, this could be on. Or coming into the K, yeah. But then I start to feel Orm die, and then I was like, I know why I feel good. So I've been carried here. I've been carried for 900 meters by this guy who's just gone off like a bat out of hell. And then, to be fair, like it wasn't even Hodge and Reed came for us first. I remember it was like Alex Partridge and Will Satch came for us first, and I was like, oh no, here we go. This is going to be painful. And we finished 5th or 6th. I guess at the time for me, it was a good result. I ended up going into under 23-4, like me, Matt Tarrant. I think it was Mason and Scott Duran. Did like the speed order that year, and I ended up going to the team. I ended up going to the team again in the 8 and got a medal. So it was good. It was good, but yeah, it was what it was.
Okay, so you can inception your coach into making you row a pair with someone. But one thing I don't get is sometimes you see 2 pairs and say it's club A with club B and then there's a club B with club A. Why can't I just do a club A pair and then the whole club B pair? Wouldn't that be better for the club?
What do you mean mixed? Between 2 different clubs?
Yeah. Like if, for example, if you have, let's say, an athlete from Leander rowing with an athlete from Thames, and then you have another pair where there's an athlete from Leander rowing with an athlete from Thames. Why don't you just have a Leander pair and a Thames pair?
That's probably most likely to do with the fact that some of them are under 23 and some of them are senior, or it just could be that maybe they've rowed together before, or it's a combination that works, or they've done a speed order and it's a combination that works. Like I'd be more interested. Like it's about the performance, isn't it, for that athlete? So it's more important to go in the boat that you can make go fastest than it would be to stay in your club boat.
Okay, so like basically what I'm getting at here is that who you get to row with for trials, the jurisdiction doesn't fall onto the club or onto the athlete. No, it comes up from the...
Yeah, especially in the team, like in the GB team, like you're saying, when you most will see like a Molesney Leander or a UL and a Tideway Scullers combination or whatever. That's because they've been rowing in that squad together for some time anyway, and they probably would have done a pairs matrix and worked out that's fastest. Or in 2013, just get stuck with Ollie because Fred unfortunately couldn't continue. So there was Fred Gill, My 2013, my first year in the senior team, yeah. Fair play to man. This guy has diabetes and was managing the whole program the whole time whilst also dealing with diabetes, which is insane. I shared a room with him on altitude camp a few times. It's just like, you think it's brutal with a fully functioning body, and you got to add anything else into the mix. Like, it's really, really difficult. And it just got to the point where it was beyond, what he could take. So 10 days before final trials, he dropped out, and I had to jump in the pair with Ollie, which is not a bad thing. It was great. Ollie Cook's a fantastic athlete. We had a great time. He definitely pulled me through that camp, because that was a struggle, having not rowed stroke side for 2 years, at least 2 years at that point, and to jump back in, work it out in 10 days.
Fair play.
Yeah, because that also happens, like coming into final trials, like no one wants to put in a bad result, and no one. There are points in your year with rowing where you can carry injuries. You can know when maybe your back's not perfect, your wrist's not perfect, but you can still train, still do pieces. You can carry a bit. When it comes to like a final trial performance, you don't want to be carrying any injuries. So the other thing that will happen sometimes, as you get closer to the event, certain people will be like this, I'm not 100%, and like I don't want to put performance down when I'm not 100%, because unfortunately it's the way it is that performances count more than no performances. And generally what we used to say would be, no performance is better than a bad performance. So sometimes that can sound a bit negative, or that can sound like there's an opportunity when someone, if they think they're not going to have a good performance, that they would then maybe try and engineer not being able to go there. That's quite difficult, because you have to, if you're ill, you have to have a doctor's note. You have to actually go and see a doctor who says you're ill. If you're injured, things like that, you'd have a note from the physio. So I think it would be difficult to engineer it, but I can understand why anyone who's not 100% fighting fit would not want to go and put that performance down, especially something, like a final trial or one before final trial. That's a performance that you're going to get judged heavily on, and that is either going to get you in the inside or leave you on the outside. So, you'll find that some people will drop out late, and you'll need to, some people will just have to like jump in a pair, get a performance in, put something down.
Okay, that is actually something that I've always wondered, but never actually got asked to ask a question or got an answer to it.
Yeah. All right, I've got a question for you that I want to know.
Go on.
We talked about how rowing language is insane, and then you came to the UK at 16 with not much English. How the hell do you learn English rowing language when you don't even know English?
It was easy, because I learned rowing English before I learned English.
Yeah.
Because obviously my hands hurt a lot when I was learning English, because there was a lot of pointing and moving my hands around trying to like describe stuff, or I don't know. I guess you fit the words and the sounds that people are shouting at you, the coaches, etc., and you try and match them to the right actions. And if you get a good positive response, that means you've probably made like a good connection. But if you hear like your coach be absolutely disgruntled, you're like, okay, no, I need to do something different. But like, jokes aside, I think I did some form of research on like what the phrases should be. But the weirdest thing is rowing English is like 3 times as broad as rowing Polish. And there's so many different ways to describe motions which aren't even talked about in another country, right? So there are things that I would hear from the coaches and I have never heard before, or because it was worded in such a way, it just made so much more sense. Like the explanations were better, or just different, like focusing on like different key points. Like, I would always hear like, right, you need to keep your arms long and you need to sort of like pull your body mass along, etc. But like actually having it explained in a way where you have to focus on the actual levers and how the boat's applying. And like, we always say legs and back in Poland, but in the UK it's legs and hips, isn't it? Yeah. And that makes more sense, because legs, like hips. Exactly. Like if you try and just like throw your back around, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to stay connected to the boat, or that you're not just going to like arch up and crawl your back underneath at the end of the stroke. Versus when you use your hips, you have to stay tall, you have to stay long. I think
It's like any language, you know. So when you learn a different language, you kind of learn a different view of the world. But also, I guess if every word is foreign to you, like there's no difference between the ones you know and the ones you don't know. And then I guess in rowing, like we use some weird words, but we use them a hell of a lot. So it's repetition, isn't it? Like you're going to hear gate, pin, spoon so much. Like eventually you're going to pick up. What are some like direct translations that sound like funny? Maybe like from like Polish. Like if you don't call it a gate, you call it, I don't know, whatever.
Oh, so it's a gate is called dulka, but I don't actually know what a dulka is. I just know that it's called that. A gate makes more sense because you put your oar in it and then you close it. So it's like a gate.
There must be some like literal translations which sound quite funny.
Let me think. Do you know what? I think the funny translations come from English onto Polish and not the other way around in most of the time because, like I said, rowing English is like so much more broad than rowing Polish. But one example is a cleaver, right? It's a type of shape of an oar. And in Poland, it's called an axe. You know, you say you're rowing with an axe oar, which is siekierka. And
yeah, I like that. I like to row with an axe. Sounds like you're going to war a bit more.
Wait, is that not what rowing is?
Well, we don't even, because not a lot of people even call them cleavers anymore. Just big spoons, big blades.
Yes.
There isn't even the separation, is it? Because no one rows with macons, so it's just a blade now.
Yeah, I didn't realize that macons were called macons. I just kept calling them spoons, but no one actually pointed the fact out to me that a spoon is just what you call the end of an oar. The actual blade is called a spoon.
I'll tell you what is weird is those new sculling ones that are like almost like a circle.
Oh, the comps.
I saw them in Ireland. They're weird.
Yeah, they're supposed to make your rate much higher, basically.
Okay.
So that you can put less watts down and then just put them more frequently, which doesn't sound like the type of rowing I like.
But yeah, I definitely learned to row. I learned to row with wooden oars.
Yeah, so like you'd call macons little spoons, basically like teaspoons.
Like a teaspoon.
Yeah, like a teaspoon.
That's a good one.
That's exactly what you row with. Like you go up to the start line. Okay, well, make sure your teaspoons are squared and in the water.
So I learned to row with teaspoons. Now I row with an axe.
Okay, that sounds like a good advert for Polish rowing. No, but there are some funny things. I mean, there's probably a lot more, like I said, like rowing terminology in English that is it just makes more sense the way that it's called here, but like you don't have like a direct comparison in Polish. So for example, in Polish, we don't have square blades, we don't have feather blades. We say with feathering or with twist or without twist.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not going to say, okay, square blades now. You're going to say, okay, and now we're going to start twisting.
Like, what even is feathered? Or what does feathered mean? Like, what do you mean feathered? That's not even, it doesn't even describe the action that we're doing. Like I said, like in Poland, at least you say with a twist or without a twist. Like,
yeah,
feathered. It doesn't make sense. Like, you think it makes sense because you've just heard it so many times that when you say the word, you see the action in your head.
Yeah.
But it actually doesn't.
But also like square,
to
right?
feather something. What do you even mean to feather? Like, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I don't know, yeah. What else? Oh, yeah. In Poland, we don't really do commands the same way that we do in England. So, in England, you know, before you take a stroke, right, all crew, from backstops, we're going to do this, and that. Ready, go. In Poland, it's just go. And just figure out along the way. I guess it's just more like, fucking get on with it.
Have you ever had an American cox?
No.
Oh, and that's another different way. It's not easy oars, it's wane off.
Like,
that's not any worse. It's just different. Like easy oars, I guess, like easy as in like stop moving, but again, it's a weird one.
Oh, it's like row easy, maybe.
Like wane off, and yeah, they're just like exactly what you just said. Like the timing of, like in England, it would be like or the UK would like build up to next stroke, you know, on the half, ready, go. Like there'll be that build up to it, and then like I think American coxes, it's more like into ready. Go. Like it's just a little bit more like sharper.
Well, I've heard into 1, 2, which isn't actually like it's not the most transparent call in the world.
And obviously they don't do strokes on and bow side. They'll do port and starboard.
We don't do strokes on bow side in Poland either.
Do you have port and starboard?
No.
What do you have?
You row with a right blade or with a left blade. Do you row on the right side or you row on the left side?
Port and starboard is actually like the nautical terminology of like boats out to sea.
Sorry, help me out. Nautical?
Like boats, like on the water.
Right,
on the high seas. So like that would probably be actually like the more official boat terminology. Like if you were like sailing on a boat and you saw an iceberg on your port side, on your port side would be facing the front. Port side is your left side, so it's your stroke side.
Right.
So you wouldn't say like iceberg on stroke side. You'd be like iceberg on port side.
Yeah.
So like the Americans use port and starboard makes more sense.
Consider this: iceberg on your right.
Who's right?
Boom. My right.
Yeah, but who's right? Because some of you are facing front and some of you are facing back. That's why you can't use right and left.
No, but that's what it makes perfect sense to use it.
No, it doesn't make perfect sense because the cox is facing one way, and so if as a cox you say, "Oh my God, hold up on the right," who's right? My right or your right? Because there's two different rights.
Okay, right. So it's because English isn't a fully developed. Well, it is, but it's a simpleton of a language. You don't have like 20,000 different forms and tenses of the same word. Because if I say on the right side or like on the right blade, you can kind of pick it up from the context. But I guess it doesn't translate that well to English.
No, I guess that's why they're named.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, also like another weird thing, we don't have front stops or back stops in Poland.
Yeah, what do you have?
Well, you just do not have the position name, like as in front stops and back stops. It's like not a direct translation.
So where do you start from?
So you have to say go to the finish of the stroke. You have to like say it the long way. You can't just say back stops now. Get on with it.
Finish positions.
Yeah. Go to the finish position. Yeah,
interesting. I would like to know what other, if anyone else listening from all around the world, this is not a plug. I'm just generally interested. Like, do you have different ways? Like, do you use port, starboard? Is there ones we don't know, or are there some funny There must be some funny translations. Like like someone calls like the loom like their rod or something. I don't know. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there must be some quite funny translations. I would think like rowing, like the rowing dictionary in English is absolutely mental. Like none of it makes any sense. Pin. What pin? It's not pin.
It's
a bolt. It's not a pin,
yeah, true.
It's a bolt. It is a gate. It makes sense. It is kind of like a gate. That makes sense. But like riggers.
A foot stretcher. It doesn't stretch your foot.
Or the foot that I'm doing my feet when we're not. Like someone was it Susie who said that like.
Or Jack. No,
like the feet are wet. Like, the feet aren't wet, the shoes are wet. What are you talking about? Why do we call shoes feet only when they're in the boat?
Oh, well, I guess.
It's proper weird.
Yeah. No, but definitely. And also, we know that you're listening from, like, a bunch of different countries. Like, I went through, like, the little thing that you see on Spotify, and you can see what countries people are listening from. I swear, like, we have people, like...
Get it up now, yeah. Let's have a look. This is fun. This is cool. This is cool to see where people are listening from.
Right, so I'm just going to go through like some countries that I wouldn't expect people to be listening to us from. Like the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
Albania. I didn't know there were Albanian rowers listening to us.
There are Albanian rowers, or are there rowers on holiday in Albania?
Oh, that is a good question. Tanzania.
Okay.
Yeah, in Africa. South Korea.
Yeah, well, yeah, because there's Seoul, they had the Olympics, and the World Championships in 2013 was South Korea, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then, okay, we've got Uzbekistan, we've got Morocco, Oman, Kuwait, classic rowing nations.
Kuwait, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. We've got someone from Greenland, so maybe you're just erging because there's the water's frozen, but hopefully
we'll have put some links.
Yeah. We'll put some more Ergen episodes out.
Yeah.
We've got people from the Faroe Islands, from Thailand, from Indonesia, from Cyprus, Vietnam.
Does it tell you total number of countries?
It doesn't tell me a total number of countries, but there's
a lot.
There's quite a lot, yeah.
That's awesome.
So no, it's interesting.
If you're from any of those countries and you're listening to this one, give us a shout. Shout in the comments, say hi. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd love to hear.
That'd be great, and let us know like about the rowing terminology because that is like pretty funny. I'm trying to think about like there's some more.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some more stuff. People seem quite scared to like write a comment like publicly. Like we message quite a lot like privately, but I don't know if people don't want to mess, or you don't want to be like the first person to message. I guess.
Yeah.
You don't want to be stuck out on your own.
But it helps the algorithm.
Yeah, that as well, definitely, yeah. I don't want to be that guy, like, share, subscribe, follow me, do this, do that, all the rest of it. Like, nah.
Hey guys, just before we get into the show, just don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment.
How many times do you hear that? Like when you're on the videos, like I'm bored of that. I kind of want to do that.
Skip.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Skip 10, skip 10, skip 10. Do you think people skip 10 our intro?
Probably. No, but you can skip back as well to watch it again. I think that's more likely the case.
Yeah. It's that good.
Oh, it's going to get even better. Right, okay, so you can't choose a crew partner for the pair outside of, your results basically choosing them for you.
Yeah.
But how do you choose who you row in a Hansa Cup with? And what the hell is Hansa Cup?
You don't. That's another one. You don't. There aren't many scenarios, I think, in rowing where the athlete gets to choose the crew combination, I would say. Unless they're, very, very experienced and part of the selection process, in a college setup, maybe a captain, whatever is involved in the selection process, potentially. But the Hansa Cup. So I think we've spoken about this briefly before. It's an invitational race in Germany. It's billed as the longest race in the world. So I think it was 12,500 meters. And then there was like some other event in America, or I think it was America, popped up. It was like 12,600 meters. So then they just brought the start line a little bit further over. So now it's 12,750 meters. So that's officially still the longest rowing race in the world. And it's done on like a bank holiday weekend in Germany. It's done on the Kiel Canal in northern Germany, which is like a big shipping lane. So it's just a massive straight.
Oh, it's a straight, isn't it?
Well, there was a few kinks, but
okay,
for the most part, it's just a huge, big shipping lane. And so generally it's Germany, Great Britain, Canada, America, Poland are invited. And so it normally happens sort of late September, early October, this bank holiday weekend. So it's post World Championships. So quite often some of the best athletes will be on their time off. So the 2 times I did it was more of a development crew. So it was a bunch of guys who were sort of close into the team or just sort of on the fringes or spares and things like that. I went there and, like I said, it's all paid for. Like they pay for the flights and everything. GB Rowing doesn't have to pay, so it's pretty easy to put a team in. You go and have a race, and it's like massively televised. There are people on the bank the whole way from start to finish. Yeah, not like packed, like through the middle, but like the whole way that there are people down there, which is pretty cool.
Shit, that's 12K.
Yeah, and you get into the finish and it's massive. There's like a big kind of festival area where there's lots of like, shops and like trade stands and music, and it's the ceremony, like the medal ceremony is televised on TV, on German TV. The first year I went and did it, the Canadians got bronze, and when they went up, we'd had some banter with the Canadians, and when they went up to get their medals presented at the front of the stage, I won't name who it was, one of the guys from the British team runs up behind him and like debags him, like takes his trousers down, but his pants come down as well. So this guy's like full frontal nude on national German TV. Probably like not about, like, the Germans are okay with nudity, so like no one lost their mind, but like the Canadian guy, oh my god, like if it wasn't on camera he would have hit, like there definitely would have been a fight. So this guy like pulls his trousers up, turns around to like hit this kid, and then it's like, I'm on national TV, I don't think I can do this. So he like kind of gets away with it. So yeah, it's really huge. Germany's big for rowing anyway. There's autograph hunters. They'll wait in your hotel lobby. They've got pictures of you printed out. They've got like your name printed out. They wait for you to like sign stuff. And I did it one year with Tommy Burton. He's a funny guy. And the autograph hunters had all been down in the lobby, and I'd never really signed autographs for anyone before, so I thought it was quite cool. So I'm signing autographs for all these guys, and Tommy Burton's like avoiding all of them, and he's like not signing any, and he's like running off and stuff. I was like, oh, what's he doing? And we all get on the bus, and like Tommy's like, oh yeah, I didn't sign any because like one day if I do get big, I want to make sure my signature's worth more. Because there's not going to be as many out there. But these guys were like so insistent. They were literally like hounding our coach. Pete Shep was like hounding, like, please, we've got everyone except Tommy Burton. Please. Because they got this crew list and they just want to get everyone. Like, they know we're a development crew, but obviously as an autograph hunter, they're like, well, if I can get this guy now, you never know. He's a British athlete. He could go on doing amazing things. So Shep even came on the bus and was like, Tommy, come on, give these guys a bloody autograph. Like, well, you know, like, I can't get them off, you know, they won't bloody leave me alone. So I think he did get off the bus and sign some, but that was funny. I think at that time as well, I was signing mine with a year as well. I was putting like the year in it. So I thought, man, imagine if I ever get to see this again, like I'd know. Oh, yeah. If I see this thing on eBay or whatever, you know, like if I make it, whatever. It was quite funny.
Well, maybe one of our listeners does have that autograph, and now they're like, oh wait, no, you didn't have a beard though, did you?
No, there was quite a good one in the first year we went. So the main race is on the Sunday, this 12.7k race, but like on the Friday night, you do a 500 meter ergo team race on stage with the cameras and stuff at this venue.
Well, like a relay?
You just do it all at the same time, and they take your average score. So you do that, and then Saturday you're supposed to do like a sprint event. It's like a short sprint event at another venue. But that first year we went out, the weather was awful on the Saturday, like really, really bad. So they cancelled the sprint event, but Shep was like, we're going to go out and we're going to have a paddle. We're at least going to have a paddle. We were at least going to paddle the boat round from where we were training to the venue. So like we'd be in the right place when the boat left the next day. So we went out for this paddle, and the local newspaper took photos of us in like awful water. I've got it somewhere. I've still got the paper somewhere. And then we land on the back page of the Sports, like front full half page on the back of the Sport. Like, you know, our British 8 goes out in ridiculous weather. So then when we came in for after the race, we came in, we did the ceremony, and we came out the VIP section, and we came out to all these crowds, and they've all got this newspaper. All of them have bought this newspaper, and they've got our picture on it, and they want us to sign it. So they spend like 30 minutes like signing autographs, which is just like surreal, like absolutely ridiculous. We've been given these caps from one of the sponsors, like people like taking the caps off, signing the caps, like throwing them into the crowd. People are like, it's just mainly like they don't know who we are. It's just like we were the guys from backstage. You know, these are the rowers at the event. You know, they must be a big deal or whatever.
So you were just spending your entire weekend signing autographs and rowing in terrible water, being featured on national television and in the papers.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. The whole time you're there, you get chauffeured around in these like long wheelbase Audi AH. You have your own chauffeur drivers. They take you wherever you want. And
bougie.
Yeah, you go to these dinners. Friday night you go to this like, you know, patrons dinner or whatever. There's loads of the sponsors and people are there for this big dinner. TV cameras are there interviewing you. I got interviewed by this German woman, TV camera, like full setup TV camera interview. You know, like I know we're here as a development 8. Like obviously I know we're development 8. This is probably 2009, 2010. So the German 8 are world champions. Yeah, this is like they're unbeaten, don't they? They go like 9, 10, 11, like unbeaten. So it's like in the middle of, they're just like unstoppable. Since Canada, you know, won in Beijing, like it's just been Germany. So she comes up and like has the camera, like puts the thing in my face, and it's like, oh, so how do you think you're gonna do tomorrow? And like suddenly realize why all athletes in interviews will just give like generic results, because you're like, I know, like I'm gonna be like, this is gonna be on TV, so like I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, we're going to absolutely do the Germans. And like you said, like not give my enemy any more reason to want to beat me. Like I can't say that. I also can't sit here and say like, listen, I'm a development squad. We're going to get spanked. Like I don't want anyone to see that I don't even think I've got a chance. So then you're left just having to do this like run of the mill down the mid road. Wow, you know, the Germans are the best, but over 2K, this is a 12K race. Anything can happen. You know, we just can't count on anything. You know, anything can happen in a long race like this, and you know, all things are different, and it's never over till it's over. But anyway, meanwhile, as she's asking me these questions, which I'm just like, oh, they're difficult to answer. You know, how's your crew doing? How are you feeling? You know, like, yeah, we're feeling good. You know, it's been pretty good. Yeah, just like, meanwhile. Okay, so behind, again, I'm not going to mention who this is, but it's the same guy that pulled the Canadians' trousers down. He goes behind the woman, and this is like not even fun, like, this is not even funny. She's like interviewing her like this, and he goes right behind her, puts his hands like where she is, and pretends to like fake honk her boobs, whilst she is interviewing me. So I'm like trying to just completely ignore the fact that this guy is like trying to put me off. I'm like, I can't laugh. I'm embarrassed. I'm like so embarrassed. I'm like, if she sees what he's doing, she's going to think I'm part of it. Like, I'm still like a young kid. This is like one of my first, like this is the first experience of like big rowing in Germany, like being treated as a sort of a VIP athlete or whatever. I was like, I just didn't know what to do. So like the whole time just going through this interview, just trying not to like laugh or look down or at him, just trying to be an idiot. He's being an idiot with his hands. He's like, putting his hands up behind her head or whatever, just being like a total idiot. I don't even know how she didn't even see what he was up to. But
that's what I was going to ask.
It was awful. That was actually quite awful. That. But yeah, like then, so there's all that sort of stuff happens. And then you finish that weekend just being like, that was absolutely insane to kind of taste what it would be like to act to like some level of fame. But at the same time, like so thankful that there's no way I would want to live my life like that. Like having to worry about going into the lobby because there are people, not worry, but you know what, there are people. I went down, I went there, I was staying in a room with Nathan, Riley, O'Donnell, Noddy, and when we first came downstairs for breakfast that morning, these two guys started walking up to us and was like, Nathan, Thomas, can we have an autograph? Nathan was like, after breakfast, sorry. And just like acting like a proper prima donna, like, I need my coffee before I sign autographs. Which I found hilarious at the time. He's a bit older than me, so I was sort of like definitely, I think he'd done that event before, sort of learning the ropes from him a little bit. He was good. That was a good event actually for me. He helped me sort of navigate it because it was even more than any other rowing event. It like sort of overload with everything that's going on. So yeah, Hansa Cup is insane.
Do you get to wear like different kit when you rowing for GB for our Hansa Cup?
No, we wore what was the World Cup all-in-ones at the time, which was the blue bottoms, white top with the red and blue. Like dark blue, red. You know the one.
Of course, I know the one.
Yeah, with the lottery funding on it. It's like televised on like Eurosport or something. You go to the bar afterwards and they put the race on for you. And you're like watching the race and you're like 20 minutes in, you're like, fucking hell, I still go. Like, and it all looks the same because it's just like there's a helicopter follows you the whole way. And it's just pointing down on this big stretch of rivers. Like it just looks the same. The whole thing looks the same. The bank is the same. There's people down the whole bank. You just go past container ships. So it's just like, it's like goes on. And then just like 30 minutes in, like, oh my God, it's like we're still rowing. And then the other thing is like the camera crews, the boats, like in a boat race, you have the flotilla that sits behind.
Yeah.
You have a flotilla like that, but they follow the Germans. So as soon as the Germans get clear water, the flotilla will then just start to move past the other crews. So then you get like half sunk in their wash and then have to sit in their wash, just battling it out. You do get paid. There's like prize money. I think €1,000 per athlete if you win, 500 for second place and 250 for third place.
That's not bad. You don't get that in rowing.
No, not a lot, no. So the second time we went, we got third place. We beat the Polish and someone else, I think.
Nice.
So yeah, we got some money for that, which was quite fun.
Wait, so it's out of 5 and you get prize money for third?
Top 3, yeah.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's good. Yeah, the money's good. It's they're big sponsors. Like, it's a big deal. It's this big, I can't remember what it is, but it's a big public holiday, bank holiday weekend. There's all sorts of stuff going on. It's a big part of the tradition up there. I guess kind of like their boat race in a way. It also helps that Germany wins it quite a lot, so they're all pretty happy to be there and watch their event.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've got obviously just like national teams and everything, so it's something that you can definitely like put on TV. It's not a random scratched 8 racing with prize money. It's like some proper big names going there.
Yeah, it's good. And the other crews, not the Germans, but the other crews, we like had dinner. Like went to an Italian restaurant once with the Canadians and the Americans. It was really fun to talk to them about how their system works, how they get funding, and their training centers and stuff. That was pretty cool. And because it's like such a crazy event, and it's not like a Olympic distance, it's this crazy distance. Like there's a lot less kind of like secrecy and standoffishness between countries. A lot of the athletes join in together a bit more. We all take the same coach on the way up, again, apart from the Germans. So there's a lot of banter on the bus. There's like we went on the bus one time. We were like quite late on, and it's like the Americans and the Canadians kind of already sat down. There's like not that many seats left. And then like the English boys are like walking on, and one of the Americans is like, "Seats taken," which is like from Forrest Gump. It's like a quote from Forrest Gump when he gets on the bus. And then like he laughs and like walks a little bit forward, and then one of the Canadian goes, "Can't sit here," which is like the next thing that they say to him. And then the thing from Forrest Gump is the girl that he fancies at the back's like, "Oh, you can sit here." So then there's a guy from the back and an American from the back calls him like, "You can sit here if you want." And everyone's just cracking up. Like, it's like go to war. Like, you know it's going to be horrible. Like, everyone's going to suffer. So like, we may as well have a bit of a laugh here first.
That's pretty good. What the hell do you rate during that race for like 30 minutes of rowing out, of 30 minutes of racing?
So it's basically, it's 2K to the first kink, the bend, and you go off stake boats in the middle, side by side.
Oh.
And you basically know, at the time, like I said, the first time we did it, we knew the Germans were fast. So you know, as soon as the Germans get up, you're in wash and it's over. You also sort of know that if you can position yourself in behind with the Germans, you can sort of hold on to their coattails and you can sort of stay ahead of that flotilla. When that separation comes in, no one's coming back. Like, no one's going to row through 8 launches of wash to come back at you.
8.
So basically, everyone's going off to do a 2K race. It's get to the corner first and then just try and survive. So you race a 2K and then you hang on for 10.7.
I can't imagine anything better or worse.
It's just pain. It's pain beyond all levels of pain.
So you just basically, going into it that you're going to be blowing by the time you've done your 2K.
Yeah, you're 100% going to blow, and you've just got to try and like find some level that you can maintain on, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
And like, do the cocks just like talk every stroke, or is there like sometimes they take like a minute off? Or
can't remember. I think mentally I've blanked out. I remember like the first time we did it and we got stuck behind the wash, and then Poland went out ahead of us, and it was like, we're going to come last here, and this is horrific, and I never want to do it in my life again. And then I did it again.
Well, yeah, why'd you do it again?
Just didn't really have didn't really have an opportunity like to say no. Like, I didn't feel like I could say no. You know, like I was like on the cusp of making the team. I'd been asked to do it. Like, I couldn't really be like, nah, I don't fancy it. I did say no the third time I got offered it, which was in 2012, with the year I did go into the team. I was like, it was very late. So the call came out very late. It was like, listen, does anyone want to do it? And like, we just had a really long season because we'd started in the 1st of September, and then then we went to European Championships, which is like at the end of September. So we just had like a 13-month season. I was like, I need a break. So I didn't do it a third time, which I'm not upset about.
He didn't want to go for the hat trick.
All right, no.
All right, I've got a little game for us to play. I want to know if we build out fantasy 8s, whose 8's going to be faster. And the caveat is we cannot name the same athletes. And we're going to do a little rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to start choosing first. All right.
Also, I want to see if anyone else has got an 8 that can beat our 8s.
Yeah. Or
it probably wouldn't be super hard, because if you have knowledge of more countries, you probably, I don't know. I reckon it could be beaten.
We could do internationals as well. It doesn't.
Anyone goes.
Anyone goes, exactly. But we can't name the same people. All right. We'll just rock, paper, scissors it. I think I won. So let's do a 2K race side by side.
Yeah.
What kind of start?
Stake boats then, if we're doing 2K.
So standing start 2K, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's going to be in Plovdiv, where the under-23s just were. So it's super hot.
Hot and fast.
Yeah.
What, so now we're going to take it in turns?
Yeah, so I said it's in Plovdiv, so you get to choose who the coach is.
Okay. Well, seeing as I'm choosing the best athletes in the world, I don't necessarily need like a great technical coach. I need like a coach for good head game. I'm going to go Henry Belhash-Webb.
You're going to choose Henry, yeah?
Yeah, he's a good finishing coach. He was my finishing coach 2 years in for under-23s. He's got good mind games. He knows how to like get you set up. Like when we went out paddling in my first year under 23s, and he was like, whatever happens, like no one overtakes us. No one overtakes us. And like we started the warm up, we were like a K in doing like arms and body, and you know, like first 6 inches off the front or whatever. And then the German A starts coming up, and Henry's like, we had Henry filming. Henry's like, right, Henry. So it's like just straight into full 8, and we did like battle paddling. It pissed them off so much. Like we would spin early, quick, and then wait for them. And then as soon as they started paddling, then just beast it and just sit 2 lengths out in front for like the whole session. He's good. He's got good mind games. Yes, I'll choose him to coach.
Nice. Okay. Well, also shout out Henry. We're definitely going to have to get you on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So I'm going to choose. Who do I want to? Okay, cool. I'm going to choose Carl Reed, because that's a coach that I can trust and I can rely on. He's got good knowledge, and then sometimes you need a bit of a biomechanical intra-analysis. Also, we're going to get Carl on the podcast.
Yeah, we're just choosing. Is this just we're choosing people who are going to get on the podcast? All right. So you got first pick of Cox.
First pick of Cox, obviously, naturally, Phelan Hill, the legend.
Yeah, Phelan. No, I'll take Philman then. I'll take Henry Philman.
You taking Henry, yeah?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to write this down. I want to know what mine is.
Okay. Can you write mine down as well?
Yeah. Okay, so I've got first pick of Stroke.
Yeah.
Who do you think I'm going for?
I know who you're going for.
Who?
I think you're going for Sachi.
Yeah.
You bastard. I wanted to go for it.
Only because I've never rode... I don't know any athlete who's like more capable of like stepping up when he needs to. So like, if you're going to take an 8 out and you're going to come and like sit up against like the biggest 8 in the world, like I couldn't think of any other strokeman who would be like capable of being like, cool, let's do it. Let's raise the bar.
Okay, well I think I've got one that can rival it.
Oh yeah,
and is the 2016 version of Stan Luludis.
Oh, you've got a year.
Well, it can be, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. So yeah, I'm going for Konstantin Luludis.
I mean, a huge athlete. All right, so then you've got first pick 7 seat.
I just want to make sure I don't just name the entire British 8, but I think Eric Murray.
Yeah.
From obviously the New Zealand pair. Shout out Eric. Would love to have you on the show. Let us know when you're in the UK. We can do Zoom, but we'd rather sit with you in person.
I'll probably go like, I don't know what side, like one of the Aussie, like the Awesome Foursome, or like Drew Gin. But I don't know if he's bow side.
He's bow side, yeah.
Yeah, I'll go Drew Gin then. 6. Who am I going 6?
I know who I'm choosing for 6.
You want Hodge? Am I going to steal him off you?
Neither confirming nor denying.
No, I'll go like... What side? Greg is Gregor's stroke side.
Gregor's stroke side.
Yeah, I'll take stroke. Yeah, I'll take Gregor's.
Greg who?
Alex Gregory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
And you're going Hodge.
I'm going Andrew Triggs Hodge. Shout out! Please come on the podcast.
All right, but now you've got 5 as well.
Yeah, obviously.
You're going to go Reedy.
No.
Who?
Mo Sabihi.
Ah.
The newly selected athlete commissioner for British rowing. Congrats on that.
All right, well then I'm going at Pete Reed.
You're going to put Pete Reed behind Alex Gregory. It's a good choice.
Yeah, I'm based. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm not leaving him out. All right.
You got 4 seat.
No, I got 4 seat. Well, that's probably me then, isn't it?
Are you going to go on stroke side?
I am not in this 8. I'll tell you that much.
Choose carefully.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else like from... Or what about Bond? Yeah, I'm going Hamish Bond. Who do you want then?
Oh, I want the Sinkovic brother, but the one with the hair. Valen Sinkovic.
Which one? What's he called?
Valen Sinkovic, yeah.
Valen. I cannot spell that.
And then I think I've got 3C.
Yeah, you got free seat. Who's your free turn?
Who's my 3-tad? Ah, shit. James Cracknell. James Cracknell, yeah, on bow
That's
side.
the name.
Not a 3-tad, but an engine.
That is an engine. You do want an engine in 3C, don't you? I think maybe like... I'm going to go power to weight Gottrell.
Okay.
It's an absolute force.
And then you've got 2 seats straight away after that.
I'm thinking if I can go someone not from the UK. Like all the New Zealanders, apart from Bonner Murray, they're like scullers, aren't they? I don't know, man.
2
I'll
seat.
just go for the easy pick.
Well, who is your easy 2-seat pick?
Me.
Are you actually?
That would be a nice 8 to row in though, wouldn't it? I've rowed with a few of them, not all of them. I'm annoyed that I think you're going to pick the bowman that I want.
Who do you think I'm going to pick? And I'll tell you if I'm going to pick him or not.
Oh well, I've got two options. So stroke. I'll I don't know why I've put him in the 2C, but I'm going Pinson. Just for comedy value.
Matt Vincent in the 2-seat.
Just to put him in his place a little bit.
2-seat, you're a little bit late to the catch.
So who are you going 2C?
Oh, this is difficult now. This has just become really, really difficult.
Yeah, because there's like too many names. You don't like initially. It's like, oh, just grab a few, but then when you get towards the end, you're like, oh, who am I going to leave out?
Yeah, no, that's true. 2-seat. I need a stroke side there. I can't just crack all those strokes, can I?
No, you can't have the same guy in twice. I'm quite impressed that we've like put 2 8s together with like as this impressive and no crossover.
No crossover, right? So 2-seat, I am gonna have to go with Steve Williams.
Oh, good choice.
On stroke side, that's right. But right behind Cracknell.
I'm going Tim Foster then and Bassey.
Were
you going to go for that?
I was considering that. That's not necessarily who I was going to pick.
You going Alex?
I'm so stuck because I want to have Alex Partridge, but I also really want Redis in the boat.
In the bow?
Yeah, let's put Steve Redgrave as an emergency bow seat.
All right, so does Will Sachs, Drew Ginn, Alex Gregory, Pete Reed, Hamish Bond, Matt Gottrell, Matt Pinson and Tim Foster, coxed by Henry Fieldman, beat or lose to Stan Laludis, Eric Murray, Andy Hodge, Mo Sabihi, Valon Sinkovic, James Cracknell, Steve Williams, Steve Redgrave, Phelan Hill? I don't know who wins, but I want to see that race.
I want to see that race too.
Over 2K, standing start from Plum Dip.
In
their prime, like all in their prime.
Yeah.
Prime.
So is that the exact seat order? That's finalized? Because I would love to see that. Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you could play around with the seat order as well, though. Like, obviously, like, get Pinson. Oh, I don't. But then, like, would you put Pinson in 6? Greg, it depends. Like,
yeah, you put Gregors at 2, but you put Pinson at 6. Yeah, I think.
I don't think you waste Foster in the bow seat either. But then Drew Ginn is just like silky smoothing along.
Well, that's why you want him in the bow and not in the 7 seat. You want Tim to be in the 7 seat.
Some absolute power in those 8s.
So if anyone's into their AI and you're able to like recreate this race, yeah, I want to see a simulation of that.
We need like top trumps for their stats. Okay, yeah. That'd be cool.
Like in FIFA, yeah.
All right, let's do a women's quad.
Women's quad?
Yeah.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors? I just beat you again.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm choosing event type. I am going for Met Regatta. Just for the shits and
giggles. Just going to rock up a Met and absolutely smash it. Just at these 2 quads like taking chunks out of each other.
Yeah.
I'm like 250 up on the crowd. All right, so...
Putting their boat away and de-rigging it whilst everyone else is still at the quay.
So you said Met. So I got to choose coach first, so you got to go coach. Who's coaching it?
I don't actually know that many women's coaches.
You can have any coach.
Jürgen.
Well, yeah, he coached the women, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got Jürgen. Who would I choose? I go Jane Hall.
Oh, yeah. Good choice.
Good coach.
Good choice. Shout out, Jane.
Yeah, come on the podcast. All right. There's no Cox, so stroke sheet.
What? I'm choosing again first. No, you got the first pick now.
Oh, okay. Well, Catherine Granger then.
DKG.
Yeah, the old DKG. We're going to be at the DKG gym in 2 weeks.
Yeah, up in Edinburgh with like 50 ergs.
Yeah.
Okay, stroke seat. Gotta have to go Vicky.
Yeah, nice.
Vicky Thornley.
All right, then I'm going Napkova.
Merca, yeah, the 2012 single sculler champion.
2012 Olympic gold medalist in the women's single. Also Czech, like my wife. So sort of like feel like I'm half on their team.
Okay,
But an absolute savage. Like she's like a bit like pound weight, incredible.
You want to get an absolute savage in a 3-seat? I'm going for Emma Twigg.
Ooh.
Checkmate.
Oh my God. I want to watch this race now. Can we find a way? Can we get this podcast big enough that we just get to arrange worldwide grudge matches between
That would be good.
like a Premier League of rowing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. No,
So now I'm going for 2-seat.
no, it's mine.
Oh, it's your turn.
Oh no, sorry, it is your turn. Yeah.
Yeah, because we swapped.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so 2-seat. So I need someone strong and powerful. It's the 2-seat. How about Debbie Flood?
Oh, I was gonna choose Debbie. Fuck you.
Oh, shout out Debbie. She is honestly one of the nicest people that I've ever got to meet at Leander. And she gave me a bunch of kit.
She's awesome.
which
She was
is
the
also
captain
great.
for a while down there as well when we were there.
I think she was the captain when I first rocked up.
She also is absolutely infamous for letting the car run out of fuel.
Yeah.
It's like running on empty all the time. Damn, I wanted Debbie.
So who are you going for?
Katerina Karsten. I've seen her out at Essen Regatta. We went out and did Essen International Regatta. She just rocks up. She's got like a big camper, like a big, like long wheelbase camper van. Like her and I think it's her boyfriend or partner, like the single on the top. She just spends like every summer just touring Europe, smashing races,
That is exactly what I
winning
want to do.
everything.
Cool. You get
okay,
the first pick of the bow, so choose wisely. I know who I'm going for.
I might go Fran Horton. She's a beast. And like I've got quite a tall, like maybe apart from that Kobe, I've got quite a tall quad anyway, so I think she'll fit quite well.
Well, I'm going for Kat Copeland.
Ah,
Yeah.
a little bow seat.
Bow seat, smooth, silky, fast, strong, powerful.
Smooth.
Silky smooth.
All right, so we've got a quad of Catherine Granger, Mirka Napkova, Katerina Karsten, and Fran Houghton versus Vicky Thornley, Emma Twigg, Debbie Flood, and Cap Copeland. I don't know who wins, but I want to watch.
I was coached by Jürgen as well.
Coached by Jürgen. Who am I coached by?
Jane Hall.
Oh, both good.
Okay, and honorable mention, Kim Crow. I think she's now Kim Brennan. She was Kim Crow when I was following her races. Australian single sculler.
I mean, there's too many. Like, there's too many names. Like, even like 2.8s, you feel with the top guys in the world. Like, they're still like spilling over.
Yeah.
All right, so not using those names, who can beat? Who's like? You have to like if you're going to bring us a crew, like if you're going to message it, it has to be like a guaranteed win. Like who's going to like guaranteed to smash that up?
Okay, so think about an 8 that consists of none of the athletes that we've mentioned, coached by someone entirely different that can rock up to Plovdiv and smash both those 8s in a 2K race side by side, and also a women's squad that's going to do the exact same.
I don't think there's any crew in the world that's going to smash any of those crews.
Hang on, not at Met Regatta. Can you imagine? You're like, oh yes, I've made the final of Met Regatta. Who have I got? Right, those are some serious crews. So I'm definitely interested to like hear what what you've got in store and whether you can provide another lineup that could compete with that.
Even if you just bring this to the classic crew rim banter, see that's quite a good one when you got downtime between races. Put your Super 8 together. GB did it once. They put Jürgen put out his big old Super 8, didn't he, for a World Cup? And they went on the double. Alex Byfish talked about it.
Oh yeah,
he stuck the 4 in with like Orm, Red, Marcus Bateman, and a couple other guys got an absolute ride at. Well, Orm said he got the ride of his life in the 3 seat. I think he was good enough to be there, but that's pretty cool. He called it Jürgen Super 8.
Jürgen Super 8, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's pretty much it for today. What are we doing the next couple of weeks?
We are fixing a lot of ergos.
A lot?
Yeah, we're going up to Scotland, Newcastle, Edinburgh, Dundee, St Andrews, Scarborough, Durham. We've got Leander, Twickenham, Putney High School,
KGS,
Kingston Grammar School. Geez, the list goes on. We've got some more CrossFit gyms. We've got a CrossFit gym in Perth. Is it Perth?
Yeah, all the way in Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland, Perth, not Australia, Perth. Yeah, we're all over the place. Keep up with the stories. We're going to keep up getting some podcasts out. We're going to have an exciting one up in Scotland.
Oh yeah,
I'm not going to mention yet, but those of you who know who's up there, I know who we're going to go and have a chat with. Yeah, and keep doing that thing, and then the fun never stops. Like up in September, we're still going. We've got loads of stuff, loads more jobs booked in. Post Worlds, we're obviously going to start catching up with some of the athletes that have been there. Some of them kind of locked in, but obviously they're busy at the moment. So hopefully, fingers crossed for fantastic Worlds and have some interesting stories and some great races to talk about.
We'll get them to bring their gold medals or medals of any color that they've won at World Championships to come and show off on the podcast. And
yeah,
we've got some also like really exciting guests booked up. So that's in September.
Yeah, September. We've already got guests booked for October. Got some Olympians, some multiple Olympic medalists coming in October. We've got some other really exciting ones. Another one we're not going to talk about, but that's going to be fun. But yeah, same thing really. Just going to chat shit about Rome. We're going to find out about what it takes. Like we kind of seen that this podcast is moving towards certainly cheat codes, mental health, how to look after yourself in rowing, how to get the best out of yourself, but also going to keep it fun, have some stories, chat some shit. Yeah. So if you want to do that, if you got any questions, if you want to know anything about any of us or our guests, or you want to see something else on the show, or you think of an idea of a different format, or it's just about anything, we're super down to listen to what you guys want to see. Like this, for the most part, is for you. Like I said, hopefully, we get some exposure out of it, and that's great. But we're not here to make money, and we're here to just kind of put out the content that people want to see. So if there's something that you'd be interested in seeing, if there's a guest you want to see on, just hit us up. Let us know. Social media, Instagram. You can post underneath this video, or get us directly. Yeah.
Nice one. And we're definitely going to keep the focus on the business as well, because that's a huge part. Like, I mean, you have so many crossovers between rowing and business. It would be too dumb not to capitalize on that. So there's definitely some really exciting things in the works. One last thing I would say is that we are now almost in September. If your club wants to see a samples box of some fantastic Rowgear kit, do give us a shout and we can arrange that as well. But I think for today, that's everything.
Sure. I mean, we could go on and on about these crews. I mean, I've got plenty more up my sleeve, but we'll save it for next time.
Absolutely. So on that note, easy there.
Cue the music.